What we got here is a totally modified 1974 D18. It's got a popsicle brush. Let's start from here. It's got tuners on it. It's got Gotoh open backs, tuners. Got a bone nut. It's got complete refret. Has a neck reset on it. Popsicle braces out. Got a black locust bridgeplate in it. The braces are scalloped a little bit. So it's had a complete overhaul, except for the pickguard. We left the pickguard on there. I like the black pickguard once in a while, you know. This one's not causing it. It's already been replaced, so it's in good shape. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to compare it to a 1969 D18, which is unmodified at this point. So you can see the difference between a modified and a non-modified. And I know it's a 69 and this is a 74, but it's only 5 years difference. It's the same guitar, pretty much. I'm not sure whether the 69 is a Brazilian rosewood bridge or not. It's dark, you know, and I can't see much color in it. The 69 is a transitional year, so I'm not sure. This bridge, speaking of bridges, this bridge has also been moved back to correct the intonation. So I'm going to run through my standard licks, and then you can see what kind of differences in sound there might be. You might like the unmodified guitar, you know. It has a good sound. It's a good 69. I mean, some of them have been really bad, but it's a good sounding guitar, so you could do nothing to it. All right, let's play. Okay, so here we go. Here's the standard repertoire licks. I'm going to compare them back and forth. Okay. my impression of the 74, the modified one, I like it better. And I like it better because it's more open. The transition between chords is better. For instance, on this guitar, on the 74, when I play an E and then go to the A, it sounds even. On the 69, when I do that same thing, the E sounds kind of down here, and the A sounds up here. So it sounds a little unbalanced to me. The unmodified 69 has got a sweet spot. And when you get away from that sweet spot, then it's a dead spot. This guitar, modified 74, seems like it has a much wider sweet spot to it. It seems more resonant. Sounds coming out of it better. I don't have to play it as hard. It seems like it is more responsive. You know, it's a small difference. However, this guitar is just finished. So you give it 6 months and let that bracing kick in, let all the changes come in, and in 6 months, this is going to be even more what it is right now. And so I hear a lot of the potential. You see, I have the advantage of having done this about several hundred times now, and I hear the potential in the guitar, not necessarily where it is right now. So to me, this 74 has got more potential than the unmodified 69. You might like that tight, focused, narrow sound of the 69. You know, that's up to you. They both, these particular individual guitars, both have a really good neck, but this 74 has got a fantastic neck. It's chunky. It's got a nice little V to it. This is a super, super, super comfortable guitar for me to play. I like this one a lot. I had a lot of trouble on this particular guitar doing the neck reset. There was almost no pocket in here. I could not get the needle in there. I ended up having to take the fingerboard extension off right here to see what was going on, which is something that I've had to do maybe 3 or 4 times in 400 neck resets. It's just something I don't do. I took the extension off, and what I did, a lot of people will cut the extension, but when you cut it, then you remove the wood. So I got it loose like that, and then I just snapped it off. Pow! That means that the wood's still there. So when I put it back together, see, I'm able to glue that back together. All the wood's still there. It is almost invisible right here. If I pick this guitar up, I would be hard-pressed to say that extension had ever been off. Also, when you just snap it like that, I mean, it sounds horrible, doesn't it? You know, but you end up with some layers of wood that you can glue back together. So you get a little bit of strength on it again. Rather, if you cut it, that's it. You know, you got 2 ends. When you break it, I've got some overlapping wood. I put that back together. I put some glue. I actually got a little bit of strength out of it. The other thing is I didn't cut it at the 14th fret. That's the body. I cut it at the 15th fret. So I still have this ledge right here to provide support for the neck and keep the neck from going down too far. That still didn't do it. I could not get the needle down into that thing. There was 0 gap in there. Just one of those things that Martin does once in a while. It's rare. So I ended up having to come in here to the butt, and I had to drill a hole through here and inject steam in that way. And finally, I got it loose. I got the neck loose, and then there just was no gap in there, and that's the problem. There was a lot of glue, so it was a combination of a lot of glue, no gap. This was a really tough neck to get off. Normally it takes me maybe 15 minutes to get a neck off. It took me about 2.5 hours to get this one off. And fortunately there weren't any other problems. You know, nothing else came loose. A lot of times the sides have come loose from the neck block after you've steamed it for too long or whatever. But I really wasn't steaming it much because I couldn't get the steam in there. It would just dive in right here and immediately shoot right back out. It was not penetrating at all. So it was a tough neck reset. But after I got it off, it went together again beautifully. And so, you know, in the end, it worked out pretty good. In fact, I got the neck reset on the first shot, getting it back on. So, and everything was square and straight. And it went back on really super easy. So, well, that's a little bit of the story on the guitar. Every guitar has its, story, you know. So, I like this guitar. It's in great shape. And sorry I had the trouble with that. But there's no, there's nothing lasting or anything, no damage on there, so all's well, ends well. It's a good guitar. It's really light, isn't it? Going home. Oh, that is an unmodified 1969 D18. And my impressions of playing it after playing the 74, this guitar is a lot quieter. It's got a very narrow focus range, of which it sounds pretty good. I really noticed a difference. I didn't notice this going the other way from the 69 to the 74, but coming backwards doing the string chords. Man, this guitar does not have, to me, does not have the pop. The pop when I'm playing that swing rhythm. I want the percussion. This guitar doesn't have the percussion. It's got a lot of sustain, and it sounds good. You know, the tone's in there, but not nearly as good as it can be. So that's one thing I noticed about it. The other thing I noticed, of course, it's got the Grover Rotomatics on it, and man, it just wants to fall on its neck like this. I'm sitting here, you know, I really feel that. I'm holding the neck up, and there's just a lot of weight out here in this headstock. That's very noticeable when switching back and forth for the two guitars. The 74's got Gotoh open backs, and it just balances, you know, right here in your lap. This one just wants to fall out of my leg like that. It's heavy. This one has a good neck, though. I like the neck. This, even though it's the original ivory nut, the spacing feels funny. I've got to get my calipers out and measure it, but it definitely does not feel comfortable to me as the 74, which is a nut that I built. I space mine out, and I make sure I have even spacing between the strings. See, that feels like a tighter spacing between the E and the A, and that is a little bit more open right there. I bet you anything that the spacing is more between the A and the D than it is between the E and the A. And I feel that when I'm doing, especially the cross picking thing. This nut is also just a little bit high, and I haven't adjusted it because I'm going to put new frets on this guitar. This guitar's got, the frets are just a little bit low. They're a little bit warm. The guitar's been dry at some point, and I can feel the fret edges here. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to put some fresh frets on it. When I do that, they're going to be a little taller, and I'm going to see if that doesn't put the nut right into spec. So, anyway. But other than that, you know, this is a nice guitar. It sounds good. I think it has a pretty good tone. It's going to have better tone when I get done with it. And I'm just going to be doing it slowly when I have time. So, I did a neck reset on it. I used fish glue for the joint. And that's about it. It's going to be a good guitar. It's a shop guitar. Kimsey Luthery owns this one now. So I'm going to be using it for comparisons like this. So, all right, back to work.